Hello everyone, good evening. My name is Venkatasubramanian. Today I am going to talk about the how the GST is formed, what is the background behind it, what was the earlier tax regime, how the reforms is going to improve the economy of Indian market. I remember in 1986 we have a concept called mod VAT. It is modified value added tax, where the manufacturers were availing the tax credit so that the manufacturing cost of the raw material or the input tax would not go up, and it gets passed on to the whenever there is a raw material gets converted as a finished good. So like that. Then in the Canadian audit 2000, so the mod VAT was called as CENVAT, which is Central Value Added Tax. So we had three kind of taxes very available in India by that time, which is excise. Excise is basically it comes under Levies and Collections Act. That means whenever you manufacture a product, then you are liable to pay excise duty. And then second one is that VAT. VAT normally covers as there are two concepts in VAT. One is value added tax, TN VAT, something like that. For example, the state can control the VAT regime, and another one is the central sales tax. So whenever the goods are moved from one state to another state, it is called central sales tax, where the manufacturers were not eligible to avail the tax credit because of that there is no network between the two states. Then we have a concessional rate of tax. You could say that 2% or 1%. It's a subsequent. Whenever you give Form C, it's a kind of a document, and then you are eligible to procure the goods at say concessional rate 2% or 4%. Otherwise, you need to pay 12.5% in case if you procure the goods from the interstate without Form C. Then in 2004, the government of India introduced the famous called service tax. The service tax will come under Finance Act. Then customs, excise, all will come under Levies and Collections Act. That means customs will come under levies and collections. That means whatever the changes applicable, whatever the changes done by the government, in case of there is any increase in tax rates or decrease in tax rates, then those changes are applicable to all the movement or with immediate effect. Whereas whenever the laws are governed or backed up by the Finance Act, those acts, the government needs to pass on the bill in the parliament, then only the act will become effective from that day onwards. Then we coming back to the service tax. So service tax was introduced in the year 2003-4, where there was one catch that if you don't trigger the payment within 6 months, then you are not eligible to avail the service tax credit. So those kind of mechanism were in place, and this continued till 2017, and the central government after Mr. Modi took over in 2014, and the government was trying to merge all the three taxes together, like service tax, VAT and excise, central sales tax and excise as well. So that's why the GST is formed in India, goods and service tax, which was effectively rolled out from 1/7/2017 onwards, where even if you procure the good from interstate, then you are eligible to avail the IGST, the input GST, the interstate GST. In case if you move the goods within the domestically, say within the state, then you need to pay CGST and SGST. So the petrol and diesel is not covered so far under the ambit of the GST, because petrol, whenever it gets produced, the state is passing on, imposing the state tax, as well as the central is imposing the central tax as well. In case if state has always has the PR, in case if the petrol and diesel is covered under the ambit of GST, then they need to forego the revenue which is applicable for the state. So this is one of the big battle between the state government and central government. And a couple of weeks back, everyone noticed about the 56th council meeting, where the GST reforms were announced by the Prime Minister. Prime Minister indicated in the Independence Day celebration. At the same time, the Finance Minister, after having held a lot of discussion with the GST Council meeting, the Council meeting announced that the certain concession in the tax rate, that means they slashed down the tax rates for certain commodities, which would effectively applicable from 22nd September 2025 onwards, which is the festive season, which is very good for the Indian economic, especially cars. The GST rates for cars were slashed down by 8 to 10%. Some of the small players are getting benefit at the rate of 3 to 4%. So, which means the manufacturer needs to pass on this benefit to the ultimate consumer. So, in eventually it reduces the price of the product, which means it would increase the consumption within Indian market. For example, if you have a price of a car, say 40 lakhs, and if the car price came down to, say, on account of reduction in GST rates to, say, around 38 lakhs or 36 lakhs, then naturally it would increase the buying power of the consumer, so that it will have more sales and it will have more consumption. So similarly, a lot of other products like television and all other stuff, the rates were slashed down. So most of the industries are facing this, the compensation cess, especially the car industry are facing how to come out of the compensation cess, because the compensation cess is applicable till 21st September 2025. Then from 22nd onwards, we might not charge the compensation cess, and whatever the compensation cess incurred, so it would be cost to the either the manufacturer or the dealer. So Government of India or Siam and the FATO, they are trying to get in touch with the government to get it clarified, but we are waiting for the government to take care of this aspect. So in a nutshell, the GST reforms recommended by the GST Council as well as the Finance Minister, it would help to boost the economy, especially in the festive season. Thanks for your info. Yeah.